What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. In today's video, I'm going to show you the outline of how to make $70,000 a year reselling clothing and shoes on Poshmark. We'll see you guys in the show. All right, guys, so I'm going to give you guys the exact outline of how to make $70,000 a year reselling on Poshmark, but the exact same model works on eBay, Mercari, Amazon, any website, because the math is always the same. So I'm going to be working with 225 square feet. It's a 15 by 15 room. It has space to hold 3,000 items in it, but I'm hopefully only going to have an inventory of 1,000 items. I'm looking for a 1% sell through each day, which means about 10 items will sell. And I'm looking for a $20 average profit per item, which ends up being about $200 a day pre-tax. I came up with this number because a lot of people want to make between $50,000 and $70,000 a year. It used to be $50K a year, but inflation's been pretty crazy the last couple of years. So $70K is what people are looking for a little bit of an emergency fund. I think people are spending about 40 grand a year, and $70K on one person's income is sort of getting them to where they don't have to work their regular job anymore, which is where a lot of people want to be. So in this 225 square foot place, I have 1,000 items in stock. I'm going to be starting to build this the first week of July. The store is already going, but first week of July, I'm going to start working on this store on Fridays. I'm giving myself 4 hours a day on Friday to do all my photos, all my listing, and then reset the week for the next following weeks, meaning that I call it a reset to zero. At the end of the day, after I'm done listing, I'm going to get the 70 items I'm going to list the following Friday ready to go, because I do flat lay on the ground for clothing, and I stage my shoes by stuffing them full of craft paper before, and I want to give the items 1 week to settle, because if you leave your clothing on the ground flat for a week, you don't need to steam it because the wrinkles will just naturally be removed from gravity. So I'm going to have 150 items ready ahead of time, just so that when I get going, I'll never have to worry about not being able to find items to resell. I'm going to find all of my items on Sunday. Guys, you're going to want to pause the video and get a notebook, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. This is literally the complete outline for how to make a living on Poshmark. On Sunday, I'm going to be going to the flea market from 3:45 in the morning to 6:45 in the morning, looking for about 70 to 80 items to resell that are at least $20 profit. Here's the math on Poshmark. I need to buy an item for $8 or less and sell it for $35 or more to net $28. If it sells for $35, Poshmark is going to take their cut, which is 20%, and pay out to me $28. If I paid $8 or less, I get a $20 profit, because 28 minus 8 is $20. Now, that being said, my average cost of goods at the flea market for everything I buy is around $5. So if you do the math in your head, you'll know that 5 into 32 plus shipping is going to still net you $20. So this is why it's really important when you join our group at patreon.com/resellers podcast to do the experiment where Tech and Sports says writing down from 0 to 100 what you sell the item for and what you net at the very, very end using your cost of goods. So in this example, my cost of goods is $5. I know if I sell for $32 plus shipping, I net $20. I know at $33, I net $21, and etc. So it's important to understand exactly where your numbers are, and you need to be able to know what to look for. So in my area, there's about 30 different flea markets. Some of them are open 7 days a week. Some of them are only open 1 day a week. Some of them require a 3-hour drive in one direction. You have to understand what is in your area. So I would join the group, look at the zip code call, and it shows you how to find items in your area, in your zip code, that sell for $20 profit in your area. Because I could tell you what to buy, but if you can't find it in your area, that's no good. So you need to figure out what sells for what on eBay, because that is the true market indicator for anything on earth. You can find it on eBay and figure out what it's sort of worth. On eBay, there's a couple different price points. There's a price point where you run it as an auction, and it sells for whatever amount. And there's a fixed price amount where you price it at a certain amount and wait for somebody to make an offer or buy it now. I use eBay to price all of my Poshmark items. So I'm looking for items that sell on eBay for $40 to $100 in that range. I'm going to post those same items on Poshmark for either the same amount or slightly less to be more competitive. On Poshmark, I have found that this is my Poshmark strategy. I do offers of likers every 5 minutes. I use the tool Flip to automate this. It's also free. So I share my closet 10 times per day. I send out a 10% offer every 5 minutes, offers to watchers. I add 5,000 new people to my follower every day. I unfollow 5,000 people every single day. And the reason I do that is because it gives people a notification when you follow them. So I unfollow them and refollow them, different people every single time to keep it fresh. And then I'm sharing 15 items from everybody who follows my closet. So the bot is already set up through Flip. A lot of people use automation. Right now, if you don't want to use Flip, you can just share your closet manually, and it's not that bad anymore. It takes only about 30 seconds to share. My current closet is about 28 items. They're all replenishable. So I'm going to continue to add items to my Poshmark closet that are replenishable, meaning like I have more than one, or I could reorder the same items back into my closet. But that's not what this experiment is about. This experiment is about 70 fresh, new, unique items going into my store. When I'm out there in the field, this has come up in my live Q&A a lot. I'm going to look up the items before I buy it. I'm not going to buy a single item that I'm not sure is going to sell for at least $20 profit because I don't want this store to be big. I already have a regular job. I sell on Whatnot. My goal on Whatnot is to sell 200 items a day. I don't want my Poshmark side hustle to interfere with my day job. My day job, I'm looking to sell 1,000 items per week. My Poshmark, I'm looking to sell 70 items per week. So what I'm doing is I want to get to work, ship my Poshmark orders, and do my customer service in less than 15 minutes. So my day job starts at 9. I get to work at 8:45. Before my day job starts, I want my Poshmark to be done. Today, I rolled into work a little bit late. I didn't get done until 9:09. So I was 10 minutes late for my regular job. And that's because my inventory system is not good enough, and I need to improve that. And that's where you need to be. If you can come to our group and let us know where you are at currently, all of the different parameters you're working with. Maybe you have a day job. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent. Maybe you're obligated to do cooking for the family. You have all these household responsibilities. Maybe you're caring for an elderly person. All these different responsibilities. You need to figure out what your schedule is like. You need to do a time audit of what you're doing during the day. Once you know what you're doing and where you want to go, then I can really help you reach those goals. So for me, I want to build a Poshmark closet that I make $70,000 a year profit or more, and I have 8 hours per week to work on it. 3 hours to find 70 items or more, 4 hours to list 70 items or more, and then 1 hour total per week to ship 70 items per week or more. So if I end up getting more than 10 sales, that's okay. That's worth it, me spending a little additional time on it. But it's important to figure out exactly how much time you want to spend on this project. I don't think it's important to go to any events like Posh and Sip or any of the things that Poshmark runs because they're not related to finding great items for your customer. I do think it makes sense for you to go to Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, REI, Walmart, Target, to go to all these different stores and look at their clothing sections, figure out what's on trend, what's worth $10, what's worth $1,000. Figure out what's on trend, what people are buying, how much they're paying for it retail, to get an idea of like what's selling really well at Nordstrom in real life. People are gonna look on eBay solds while they are at Nordstrom. They see it for $80. They see a pair of Birkenstocks for $120 at Nordstrom. They're going to look online and buy the same pair of Birkenstocks on Poshmark for $75. You bought it at clearance at TJ Maxx for $25. That's all the homework that you need to do to really be successful on Poshmark, is figure out what to buy. The math that I'm doing right now is the same math as on eBay, except for the fees are slightly different. On Poshmark, you pay a 20% flat fee on the sale price. On eBay, you pay a percentage of everything, including shipping and tax. It can be as low as 13 or 14% and as high as 50 or 60%, depending on what category you're on, what your promoted listings rate is, the cost of your store. All these different platforms have small nuances and differences, but it just comes down to making a really high quality listing, which in my opinion is 10 or more photos, 10 or more really, really good keywords in the title, every single item specific being correct, including item specifics that your customer cares about that are not required, accurate condition description, a price that makes sense. That's really all that you need, and a return policy to stand behind your products. On Poshmark, I'm finding that it's insanely easy to be successful because people have their prices so ridiculously high that as long as you're priced at market, you're going to show up on the first few listings on Poshmark. If there's 100 things listed, 90 of them are priced way overpriced. So all you have to do to be in the top 10% of Poshmark is just price accordingly. So I actually only accept offers that are 10% below asking. So a lot of people say I like to price my items really high and wait for offers. I have noticed that on Poshmark, but I personally do not do that. I'll have an item listed for $39. I have plenty of items in my closet right now that are $39 that if you offer $34, I will automatically counter offer $35 because that's the lowest I'm willing to go on that particular item. To each their own, but me having my items competitively priced to begin with is giving me a huge advantage on Poshmark because most people do not do that. I would say about 30% of my orders are buy it now. I don't even need to answer an offer at all. It's just already priced well and it's going to move. So this tutorial right here, I feel like is the most condensed version of how to be successful on Poshmark that I've ever seen because I filtered through all the Poshmark content and a lot of it has information that's not really relevant to getting a lot of great sales. Now, let's say you also wanted to add Poshmark Live and once a week or twice a week you want to run a live. That's great. I actually recommend people do live auctions. No matter what level of reseller you are, you should have one version of selling things live because it's a way to clear out inventory. It's a way to get things to move that wouldn't otherwise sell. And it's a way to sell really cool items for more than you would fixed price because you can really show the item and how cool it is live. Poshmark Live, in my opinion, is much worse than Whatnot Live. So I recommend you go to Whatnot and maybe check out my auctions as well. Here's a little invite code that'll get you $15 off your first order. But I recommend having both a fixed price model where you sell things for as much as you can and a liquidation live model where you sell things for what they're worth right now. Having those two models is going to set you really far ahead as a reseller. 70K, I feel like, is a really comfortable amount to be able to at least quit your job. I don't think 70K is certainly not going to make you rich, but it's not going to get you to where you want to be, but it's a good starting point. I recommend everybody, if you're going to work for yourself, try to shoot for making at least 100K or at least the skills to make $50 an hour because working for yourself is a grind, guys. There's so much work to do to get everything ready that I think you deserve to make at least $50 an hour, but in order to make $50 an hour, you have to do $50 worth of work every single hour, which requires a lot of planning, a lot of research. I've been talking about this for almost 10 years on YouTube, and I'm really excited to share how to do this, but it's really important to understand. Do some planning before you go out there and take action. Massive action, massive planning. That's how you make progress daily. Until next time, guys, take care.